things about Tubaba, innocent, that just still makes you smile?
It's humor.
It's humor, okay.
It's just the way
It
we
just
are.
works.
Yes, like brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Like brother and sister.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Every great love story has its highs and lows. But this is a Shakespearean tragedy soaked in love, obsession, betrayal, and chaos. Two-Face Idibia, Afrobeats royalty, a man whose voice defined a generation. Annie Idibia, the loyal, devoted woman who stood by him through it all. For years, the power couple tried to stay together in love. But behind the smiles and public declaration of love, their relationship was slowly falling apart. Multiple baby mom, a long history of cheating, public meltdowns, allegation of abuse, and in 2025, it all ended in the most spectacular, messy, and devastating way possible. So how did we get here? Hi, my name is Paul. Welcome to the Story Vault, where we make documentaries on superstars and things we're into. Our story begins at the Institute of Management and Technology, Enugu State, Nigeria. Here, a young innocent Idibia, later known as Two-Face, was studying business administration. But school wasn't his thing. Music was, and he had to answer. Soon he dropped out and started recording radio jingles at ESBS, Enugu State Broadcasting Service, and even joined the local club, GB Fan Club. Now here's where it gets interesting. In later years, Two-Face would claim the name was to separate his business life from his personal life. But if we really analyze his life, it's almost like he knew, deep down, he had two sides: the romantic, passionate artist, and the man who just couldn't stay loyal. Now, while Two-Face was grinding, he reconnected with his high school friend, Blackface. The two discovered they both loved music and decided to team up. Face would later join them, forming the iconic Plantation Boys. Their career was starting to take off. But one fateful day in the music studio, Two-Face met a girl who would change his life forever. And she was just 15 years old.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the...
How did you guys meet? Was it love at first sight?
But I just knew there was that strong attraction. That first instant I was going into the gate and he was coming out. That's how I met him at the studio, even Ezra studio. So he was just coming out of the Ibn Ezra gate and I was going in and kind of, at the same time, it sounds like a movie, right? It isn't. But that's how it happened actually. And then he was coming out, I was going in, and he said hi and I said hello.
And the sparks.
Annie was young, beautiful, and full of dreams. She had no idea that walking into that studio would set her life on a path of love, heartbreak, and obsession. She and Two-Face clicked instantly. They started dating in secret. But it didn't take long before Annie's mom found out, and she wasn't having it. Now we have to acknowledge the age difference. In 1996, 15 and 20 didn't seem like a big deal in Nigeria, but it definitely raises eyebrows today. Annie's mother did everything she could to separate them, but if you know anything about teenage love, you know it only made them stronger. Meanwhile, Two-Face was climbing the ranks in the music industry, and in 2004, he made the biggest decision of his life. He left Plantation Boys and went solo. In May 2004, he dropped his debut solo album, Face to Face, and with it came a song that would change Afrobeats forever.
Yeah, yeah, you are my African queen. Ooh, Lord, ooh, Lord.
By 2006, Two-Face was on top of the world. He had the fame, the money, and the women. But for Annie, that was when a perfect world came crashing down. April 2006. News breaks that Two-Face had gotten two different women pregnant at the same time. One of them bore him a daughter, the other gave birth to a son. Annie was devastated, and rightfully so. She broke up with him, but couldn't stay away. Two-Face promised to change and stay loyal. But 2 years later, in 2008, it happened. The same two women were pregnant, and this time they both had sons. At this point, Annie was torn. She had invested over a decade into this man. She had stood by him through everything, and now she had to either walk away or accept the reality of who he was. February 14, 2012, Valentine's Day. Annie thought she was going on a simple girls' night out, but instead, Two-Face was waiting for her on one knee with a ring. She said yes, but here's a plot twist. Around the same time, Two-Face's first baby mom was pregnant again. But he married Annie anyway, and she forgave him. But what she didn't know was that this was just the beginning of a never-ending cycle.
The 14th of February, wasn't it?
Valentine's
So
Day.
it was like up and down. When you proposed, I know some other women would have been like, "Ah, this whole thing has been up and down, up and down." Why did you say yes? Jam question.
Basimbok. So, I don't know if you're seeing anyone, but if you are and you love him and he proposed, won't you say yes regardless if you really love him?
In 2013, Annie officially became Mrs. Idibia. They had a lavish wedding in Dubai attended by celebrities and dignitaries. For Annie, this was her moment of victory. She had fought, she had endured, and now she had won. But here's the problem. You can win the title, but that doesn't mean you've won the man. Because despite promising to be a changed man, Two-Face was still involved with Adeni, the mother of 3 of his children. Annie started noticing things. Random disappearances, private conversations on his phone, excuses about co-parenting. And here's where we see the psychological effect of long-term emotional damage. Annie had spent her entire life fighting to be Two-Face's only one. So when she saw the same patterns repeating, her mental state started to unravel. Fast forward 2021, Annie couldn't hold it anymore, and in a now deleted post, she called out Two-Face for still sneaking around with Pero. This was the first time the world saw Annie's pain in real time. Soon, a leaked audio was released.
I am going to scatter everything. You don't say that I was with my husband today. Peaceful, nothing happened. My husband told me he had a shoot today. Only for him to pack his things and his stupid cousin Frankie helped him plan it. His family does not love me. They hate me. They've been giving me hell for 10 years. Today, my husband packed his things. He lied to me that he was going to shoot. But my husband is on his way to America. Planned by himself, F.L. Morikbe, and Frankie. All of this behind my back. I don't deserve this. He don't send us on his way to America without telling me. Without telling me. Without telling me. He's going to seek better in America.
Now, people were divided. Some said Annie knew what she signed up for. You can't turn a womanizer into a faithful man. Others felt bad for her. She's given her entire life to Two-Face and he keeps humiliating her. And then Two-Face did something shocking. He posted an apology. He asked for forgiveness. And just when people thought this was the lowest point of their marriage, it got worse. At this point, Annie was emotionally wrecked, and people started noticing a change in her. Rumors started swirling around that she had turned to substance abuse. And then came the Netflix show, Young, Famous and African. In one emotional moment, she broke down and said, "Do you know how embarrassing it is to know that the first woman to have Two-Face's child isn't me?"
And then he has 5 kids with other women. How did that happen? And my first child is his 5th. And I met him before everybody. So you know what that is.
And this is where we see the deeper issue. She didn't just want to be his wife. She wanted to be his only woman. She wanted to be the mother of his first child. She wanted every part of him. But this was never going to happen. January 2025, a post appeared on Two-Face's Instagram. It was a divorce announcement. The internet went crazy. But then a twist. A few hours later, a new post appeared, claiming that Two-Face's account was hacked and that the divorce announcement was fake. At this point, people were confused. Then Two-Face himself made a video. This time, it was real.
Yo, my people, man, nobody have my account. Let me talk with you I want to talk. Understand? I come in peace.
Not long after, news broke that Annie had checked into rehab. Her mental health had completely shattered, and for the first time in decades, Two-Face and Annie were truly apart. So what do we learn from this story? Let's break this down psychologically first. You see, Two-Face is what you call a flawed hero.
I like woman, I dey straightforward.
He's not exactly a bad guy, but he's reckless, carefree, and ruled by his desires. He's never been the type to take things too seriously, and when you combine that with a high libido, it's a recipe for disaster. In old interviews, he basically admitted that men can cheat and not feel anything.
Men are wired like that. A man would love a woman to hell.
100%.
But maybe he's somewhere.
Yeah.
His dick will just decide something.
I'm not gonna lie, just hearing him say that, I'm kind of embarrassed.
But then we have Annie. She's what we call the obsessed lover. She met Two-Face when she was just 15 years old. This was the man she had loved. This was the only man she had ever loved. She risked everything for him, but every time she got close, she realized he was never truly hers. Imagine watching the man you love have kids with other women, while you have none. Imagine choosing to forgive over and over, hoping one day he'll stop. Imagine realizing you've built your entire identity around someone who will never truly be yours. And this is why Annie lost herself. This wasn't just a marriage. This was her entire life. It's hard to believe, but there are many women that hold strong beliefs about their marriage.
But me, Patience, Annie Ozoko, alias Mama G, I will not leave my house for any woman. That's a stranger. Oh yeah.
Now that it's all over, there's one thing left to say. Annie, you can come back stronger. You have two beautiful daughters who love you. You have a career you can rebuild. You have a chance to finally love yourself. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. So, salute to you. It's time to heal.
Here's the thing. A guy's thinking, when my woman go cheat with a man, she's emotionally invested unless she's a whore.
She don't love
Only prostitutes can sleep with a man she's not emotionally invested in.
Facts.
A woman has to have some. A man can literally stick his dick in a gas tank. A man has no emotions tied to his penis. So when he lays with a woman and you say, well, you've been sleeping with her for years, he don't even like her. But when a woman lay with a man, it's something about him she has to like. That's what hurt a man even more. A man is saying, man, I'm sleeping with this woman. I don't even know. I sleep with somebody I don't know. I don't even like. None invested. But for you to lay down with this guy, you have to have something invested in it. That's what hurts more. What a man does with his penis has nothing to do with his emotions and his values. So if you ask a woman, what do you think about this? She's going to answer with her feelings. She's going to say, well, I feel like. If you ask a man, well, how do you feel? He's going to say what he thinks because he's not emotionally in tune with his feelings.
Yeah.
By nature, we're hunters, right? So we have to be analytical. A hunter can't be in tune with his feelings because he wouldn't hunt out of fear. When it's dark outside, when the world had no lights, then he wouldn't provide food for his family because he would be afraid. So there's something in us that supersedes our feelings because we're analytics. A woman is more emotional because she has to nurture. She has to give life. She has to breathe life. A man will sleep with something he hates. A woman won't. So it's much more impactful when a woman lay down with a man because that's her heart. Her heart is between her legs. A man's not. So women think that our feelings are tied to our penis, and a man has no emotions when it comes to sex.
Don Marco.
None whatsoever. The way to a man's heart is through his belly. Talk to your grandmothers and your great-grandmothers, and I promise you, they will tell you a way to a man's heart is through his belly. A man that has a woman that'll feed him supersedes a woman that'll fuck him. All men have heart. When they meet the right woman, they'll stop doing whatever they was doing before they met that woman to keep this woman.
Facts.
When they meet the right woman, they'll jump through whatever hoops that they have to jump through, even if it means denying themselves for this woman. But how do you know? Think about, and I hate to bring this up, but I have to. Think about how great we say Dr. King is. Dr. Martin Luther King was a whoremonger, slept with many a women, and his wife knew it.
I did not know that.
Everybody knows that.
I did not want that perception.
Everybody knows that. But most women will say because he cheat, he's not a great man. Most women think because you've cheated on women that you're not a good man. Good men cheat. It's hard for a woman to believe that. Good men cheat because all men cheat. All men will cheat, except for the right woman.
Mm-hmm.
He don't want to hurt her. So the hurt that he see that he causes her will stop him from cheating because he don't want to cause her that hurt. It's in his nature to not be with one woman, except when he meets this one woman, he decides to go against his nature and deny himself so he don't hurt this woman. And what pushes a man to that point? The actions of the woman. The actions of the woman. Or make a nigga stop lying, or make a nigga stop cheating. And that comes from her love. Her love will truly conquer him. And that's what every man eventually ends up getting to at some point in his life, where at least one woman's love conquers him, where he tries to become a better man for this one woman. So you have to decide if you that woman.